Wake up grateful every day, covered in favor, doused in grace. Only good vibes rolling through my way. Thankful that the Lord woke me up today. Got a loving family and solid friends, ones that'll ride for me till the end. Car and a crib, I ain't late on rent. All of my blessings I haven't seen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Imagine That with Robin Richie. I'm your host, Robin Richie, and tonight it gives me great pleasure to introduce someone who I consider to be the perfect prototype for the phrase overnight sensation. She's a singer, songwriter, and author with nearly 30 million streams and plays across all digital platforms. Instantly recognizable, her song, Grateful, has swiftly become an international anthem of gratitude, inspiration, and positivity. So wherever you are in the world, you already know the Imagine That with Robin Richie drill and what we do. Please join me in giving a warm round of applause for none other than the incomparable Ebony Jenae.
Hi, Robin.
Hey, beautiful.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Thank you. I'm grateful. Really and truly. You look fabulous. Doesn't she look fabulous, ladies and gentlemen?
You.
Absolutely fabulous.
I receive. Thanks.
Darling, tell me, how have you been?
I've been blessed overall, truly. Even with my highs and my lows, God is good. I can't complain. Truly. I almost want to cry thinking about it. I am extremely favored, and His hand on my life is powerful. Sometimes scary, but I'm super grateful for it.
I can say, ladies and gentlemen, that even though she's written this blockbuster song, right? It's not just about the streams and the success that she's experiencing on surface level. This goes so much further than that, I can say, for this lovely young lady. And when I tell you, I'm so excited, and I'm going to talk about you as if I'm not talking to you, and I'm talking directly to the viewing audience. This has been and is currently the 26th season of the Imagine That with Robin Richie platform.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much. And I've presented Grammy winners, Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, and I'm here to tell you, my dear, you are right in alignment.
Thank you. I received that. You said that like you meant it, Robin. Thank you.
Oh, I did. I did. We don't mince words. Tell us a little bit about your origins. Where are you from?
I am from Chicago, Illinois, born and raised. I started singing in church with my father when I was about 4 years old. That's the earliest memory I have of having a microphone in my hand and standing in front of a crowd and singing. I've been writing songs since I was like 6 or 7. They were bad, but I've been writing for about that long. Then as I grew older, I joined a youth gospel choir called the Soul Children of Chicago. And I toured with them all around the world, to Norway, Sweden, Spain, Italy, performing, and got a lot of training in that. And then I went to college, to Columbia College Chicago. I got a BFA in music and vocal performance and acting. And after graduating college, took the move down to Atlanta, taking a leap of faith. I'm still the only one down here. My whole family lives in Chicago. So, it was a little scary. Moved to a brand new city where I knew no one, had no family, really no money. It was just all God, all faith. And it has brought me to where I am now.
Magnificent. That's the story right there, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, really and truly. And you carry these changes with such grace.
Thank you.
We don't realize how important grace is, particularly in challenges.
Yeah.
So Chi-Town, you come from a rich wealth of talent. Tell
Mhm.
us about your family. Your family. Are you the creative, or is this
So on my mom's side, definitely. Most of my family are very traditional. You go to school, you get a job, you work that job till you retire, and you live your life. I am kind of the only dreamer, the only person really in the arts, at least on my mom's side of the family. My dad's side is full of singers, him included, but none of them have really ever pursued a career in entertainment. So I'm for sure everybody was like, "You moving well? Yeah, ain't none of us down there. What you mean?" And the way I looked at it, I'm like, if it don't work out, the worst thing that can happen is I have to move back home. Like, it's not the end of the world, but I'm gonna at least try. Like, I'm gonna shoot for the stars, and I just take the leaps of faith, and I feel like God will catch me, and He has every single time.
that's called courageousness.
Courageousness, gotcha.
And that's
Well,
really and truly what it is.
yeah.
And vision. When
Mhm.
you combine vision with courage,
Mhm.
possibilities are endless. Really and truly. Why Atlanta?
During college, my freshman year, I took an acting class as an elective just to fill up my credits, and I ended up falling in love with it. I thought I could possibly be on TV, but I was more so centered around being a singer, um, solely. And so I don't know, I got bit by the acting bug, and it just got me. And so afterwards, I was trying to get an agent, and I was working as a background actor on different shows in Chicago, but I kind of wasn't getting anywhere. And I knew that like Atlanta was kind of like the Black Hollywood. And so I visited a couple apartments. I asked my mom to go down there with me and like just to fill out the city. And I don't know, I just got that feeling to do it. And I did it. And it's just bigger, not even just for acting, it's a bigger music community down here too. So I just felt like if I really wanted to make a living from this, that Chicago wouldn't be the place for me to spring as much as I could. So yeah.
How long did it take for you to garner your footing, so to
Mhm.
speak, and take us, paint the picture for us,
Mm.
the inspiration behind Grateful?
Got you. So I think, and this is something I still struggle with to this day. I am very introverted. I'm not. I was going to a bunch of networking events and going straight to my car afterwards. I wasn't shaking nobody's hand, like trying to introduce myself. It just gives me so much. I don't like to speak anxiety on me, but I don't like the feeling, so I avoid that pretty much at all costs. So for a while, I wasn't really getting anywhere. I'm like, nobody knows who I am. I'm not making friends. I'm not really meeting anybody because I'm so scared. Like I'm paying to go to these events and I'm not talking to anyone. And then somebody reached out to me on Instagram after seeing one of my singing covers and asked me to come perform at like this independent artist showcase type thing. And I went and I performed a song that I had written that I never really put it out, but the crowd really received me so well. And I was the only person that sang live. I didn't know that was like the Chicago music scene, baby. You singing a lot against some live bands, really. You ain't really even singing to no tracks, but I had a performance track and I sang live. Everybody else sang on top of their full song, like already playing. So everybody was probably like, that was so cool how you sang live. I love that. I love that. And I realized, oh, y'all don't sing down here. Like, y'all don't sing how we sing in Chicago. So I feel like that set me apart, and I gained a lot of followers from there, and people kind of just started like, listening to my work and all of those kind of things. And I think from there, that gave me like a boost of confidence. They're like, okay, if you do put yourself out there a little bit, people will receive you. Like you do have something to offer to this space, because I've been singing my whole life, but I had never released any of my own music. I had wrote Little Brown Girl my senior year of college before graduating. It was my final for my songwriting class. And so when I decided to move to Atlanta, that was just the last song I had written. So I'm like, well, let me record that and let's put it out, just so when I go down there and I say I'm a singer, I have something that I can play for people. So that's really how Little Brown Girl came to be. And then the producer for Little Brown Girl said that she was no longer going to be producing when I was ready to work on more music, but she recommended me to a guy named Jamari McHale, who actually produced Grateful.
Yes,
So
I saw that. Yes.
so he sent me the track. It's Jamari Michael. It's Michael, not McHale. But he sent me the track and I fell in love with it immediately. And the verse started flowing and the chorus started flowing. And I was in a space where things weren't going how I wanted them to go, but I still felt immensely grateful to have been in the environment where I felt like it can happen. Atlanta just had a new energy for me. It was so many Black creatives, and everybody was willing to help you and put you on and introduce you to people. Whereas in Chicago, I experienced a lot of crabs in a barrel type mentality, but nobody was like that down here. It was energy like, no, we all can win. It wasn't, oh, if your light shines, that means mine is dimmer. You know, it was none of that. And so I wasn't where I wanted to be yet, but I was just thankful to God. I was thankful that I had made the leap and he was still keeping me, and that, you know, I could feel that all the things I wanted would come to pass one day. And so I don't know, I just got in there writing about things I was grateful for. Like I was just, my posture was just gratitude in that season of my life. And it still is, really. You know, I still feel like I'm in the beginning of everything. I don't even feel like I've made it or accomplished much yet still. So, you know, that's really how it came to be. I recorded that in my closet with 3 comforters hanging up. I didn't have no real equipment, no studio time, none of that. Recorded that. I sent him the tracks, the vocal tracks. He mixed it in Chicago, and we put it out.
Magnificent. Mm-hmm. When you listen to the song, it doesn't have these overly complicated riffs and runs, and, you know, it runs on and on and on, 5 hours and 3 days, and it cuts right to the heart of the matter. And what I love, 2 words when I was preparing for tonight's interview. I thought about 2 words: authenticity and transparency. And so however you chose, or however you composed this, whatever the inspirations, and now we know what they were and how that unfolded, these are things that are in your core. And I think that one of the reasons that it's so popular and so many people are just embracing, because, to be perfectly honest with you, you've articulated what we want, even for those who don't know that, even for those who don't know how to embrace the very attributes that you're singing about. Because fundamentally, these are the things that many of us want. Fundamentally, you went somewhere that everyone around the globe was able to connect to, you know, and that's so special. How are you contacted? How do you find out? How do you get to 3.4 million streams and plays on Apple Music?
I'm not even trying to give you a generic answer. It nothing but the Lord. I do not have a booking manager, an A&R, a label, a marketing budget. I've never ran any ads. I posted my songs maybe the first week I dropped them and never posted again. I am the worst at self-promotion and consistent marketing. I had just was like, okay, I put it out. I posted a couple times, so that must mean people saw it. Like, that was my I have no idea what sparked this thing. All I know is that I was looking at that weekly email and I saw like maybe 300 plays one week. And I was like, who over here listening to, hold on now, who's listening to me? Because the number used to be so low. And I remember writing down at the end of 2020 that I wanted to reach 5,000 streams for the year. And I thought that was a really big number because I was only getting about 5 a week anyway. So I'm thinking I'm shooting for the star. Like, all right, Lord, I'm expecting big things. And when I tell you he laughed at that 5,000, I don't know where it came from. It was just week after week after week. I'm getting all kind of messages and how the songs are touching people and how many times they listen to it a day. And then all the celebrities are sharing it. It just kind of caught on like wildfire. And I really don't know where it sparked. It may have been TikTok, but I wasn't on TikTok at the time. So that's where everybody was telling me songs were kind of going viral and then they spill over into the other platforms. But I don't know. Nothing but the Lord. I guess he said it was time because I surely wasn't doing anything. I wasn't doing any marketing, no connections, nothing. And it's really, this is not normal. This is not usual for an independent artist at that. So, you know, favor ain't fair, but I'm glad I got it for sure.
Who was the first celebrity who reached out to you and shared it?
Ooh.
Notable
Celebrity. For Grateful, it was probably Megan Good. She used it on like a 4-minute long reel. And then I, commented and said, thank you for using my song. And then she ended up emailing me that same day, like just championing me, telling me to keep going and that, I was talented and all those things. Little Brown Girl, Lupita Nyong'o, that was it for me. When Lupita used it, I was like, oh, I made it. That's my girl. And everything she stands for and just, how she inspires me. That was heartfelt for me. And she used it to promote her book, Still Away, that I have. I have her children's book as well. So that tripped me out. I was too through. But Tabitha Brown has used Grateful. Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade have used Little Brown Girl. And I commented and he replied back and said, this is her favorite song. She listens to it all the time. Like, so it's just, it still feels so surreal. It really does, because not that I didn't believe, but it's just like to be experiencing it and to still feel like, wow, this is just the beginning. Like, to imagine what God is really going to do and is currently doing for me is just overwhelming in the best way, truly. And the fact that the impact it's having on people, because Little Brown Girl was a love letter I was writing to my younger self. I didn't have any intention on it touching thousands and thousands of little girls, and grown women are like, no, you speaking to my inner child. And people in Grateful being like, no, like I've had people comment saying that they were plotting suicide that morning, and my song randomly came on a playlist and it saved them, and now they listen to it every day, or this is how they start their morning. Like, that's more than I could ever imagine. You hope that it'll touch people and heal people, but to see it and the people to take it a step further and reach out to me and try to tell me, God is good.
It's God ordained.
Yeah.
And this is something that is very important. We talked about vision. We talked about courageousness, but we need some sort of foundation. Okay. A foundation. And I'm not talking from a realm of perfection, but a foundation, a foundational start of positivity. Okay. This song is so selfless. That's the other thing. It's very, very, and we're talking about Grateful, and I'm going to switch to Little Brown Girl because that is equally as moving on different realms. And they connect to your heart, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, once this airs, actually, I want all of you to download the songs, look her up on YouTube, find those videos, and don't just view them, like them, and make sure that you subscribe to her as well. So I wanted to interject that.
Started off as a songwriting assignment in my class, and it has specific parameters. We have to write a song that is strophic, and that's just a musical term for a song that has no choruses. It's all verses. So originally the song was just 3 verses, and when I decided to turn it into a real song and have music behind it, because I sang it a cappella. I don't play any instruments, unfortunately, right now. So I sang it a cappella. And I think it was one other requirement for the title, like it had to have a descriptive part about it. So that's where the brown came from me. And honestly, I didn't realize in the moment, but I realize now that was just the Holy Spirit using me. The words, I don't even remember writing anything down. Like, that song just came out of me, and I didn't even know that I still needed the healing that it gave me when I wrote it.
Healing in what area? In what manner?
That the little brown girl inside of me had never really been, I don't want to say it. The words that I wrote had never truly been spoken to me how I needed them to be. They had never really penetrated my heart the way that it needed to be. And it took me a long time to get to the place where I even looked in the mirror and felt any type of satisfaction. I feel like I always looked in the mirror and found something wrong or something that I wanted to change, especially about my dark skin. And so while I was out of that phase of like wanting to be light skinned and trying to do everything I can to be lighter, there was so much more underlying that I didn't realize I hadn't healed, that I hadn't spoken, that I hadn't nurtured that little girl, that I hadn't told her how powerful, how worthy you are, how people are really trying to be like you, and you can't be duplicated. Like this, the world is trying to mimic you guys. Like you really the blueprint, you know, like those are the things that weren't embedded in me. And so, without even knowing it, I was telling myself all the things that I wish I would have heard when I was younger. And so when it came down to moving to Atlanta, saying what is the first song I wanted to put out, I'm like, I feel like I want to do, it wasn't just because it was the last song I had written, but it was like, to me, this is me kind of bearing my soul. This is very personal to me. This is, you know, if I'm going to share my first thing, I want people to see me as me, you know? And so, yeah, I got with another Black woman. She heard me. I sent it to her like on a voice note on my phone, and she sent me back the track, and that's what sparked the chorus and the bridge and all of those stuff. I didn't have that written originally, but when she sent that track back, I was like, oh, I love this. Like, and I started writing more. The person who shot the video, Black woman, it was just Black girl magic all over this record and everything we had going on with it. And yeah, the impact, that is my most streamed song across my whole music catalog. It has,
wow,
yes, it catapulted everything else. Little Brown Girl went viral first, and because I had other music, people started listening to my other songs, and I believe that's how Grateful caught on, because they found me from Little Brown Girl. Yeah,
that's magnificent.
Yeah.
That is magnificent. And so in many ways, this was therapeutic, unintentionally therapeutic.
Right. 100%. I remember crying during the performance, and when I finished, everybody was silent. And I was like, oh, was it bad? Because I didn't realize, I'm like, maybe I was crying and singing and it wasn't good. And the tears were in people's eyes in the classroom. Like, that was so, it's kind of like I went to another dimension and I don't really remember that performance. I just remember opening my eyes and there was tears and the song was over. Like, so yeah, therapy. I had no intention. We just came into class. He gave us the parameters and it just spilled out. I had no idea that's what I was going to write that day, or that's what was going to be birthed, and that it would lead me to where I am now in an era where, mind you, I dropped Little Brown Girl in 2019. And I believe that was in April. I believe in August, Beyonce dropped Brown Skin Girl. And after that, I was like, well, I'm going to stop. I stopped posting, marketing, anything, because her song was everywhere. And it felt like I was copying, even though technically I had released my song already. But it was like, nothing I was doing, everybody was on the Brown Skin Girl train. And I love the song. It's a good song. I'm not taking anything away from it. But it was just kind of like, wow, what are the odds? I'm like, Beyonce, I can't compete with Beyonce. That's how it felt in the moment. But I feel like it happened for me when it was supposed to, you know?
Not only did it happen for you when it was supposed to, but in the manner. Okay. This has catapulted you into Titan status, TITAN status. Hear me when I tell you, because this is something where people will be analyzing and discussing decades from now. Another reason why I think that song went viral, because particularly in melanated communities, okay, can we go there for a moment? There is what I've always referred to as a sickness. Okay. It's unspoken, it's quiet, it's very subtle, it's very, but it's there.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's there. It's generational.
Absolutely.
It's nurtured. It's fostered. It's tilled. Okay. Like soil, and it's watered. And it stings. But yet we still do it. Colorism within our own community. The fact that God has enabled you, you were the vessel to once again, from looking within, okay, creating and permitting yourself to bring forth something that is so healing, something that is transformative. I watched a video online of some young ladies, and I believe it was a church service, a performance rather,
Mhm.
and they were doing liturgical dance, and they were
Mhm.
also signing Little Brown Girl. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
I have no idea
You
what you.
know that there's a video of little lovely young ladies who all appeared to be from perhaps ages 8, 9, 10, and up.
Mhm.
They are actually signing.
No, I have not seen that. That
And
sounds incredible. Wow.
I'll send it to you.
Yes, please. I have
I will
not seen.
send that video to you. I was so touched, and I thought that this was something that you were a part of. And how do we foster greater confidence and self-esteem within our community with our young ones?
So yeah, well for me, and this is not really a plug on Little Brown Kids, but it is the reason why I started it. Positive representation. I feel like it's seeing yourself in a positive light over and over and over again to where it becomes that's just seamless. You don't even question it because it's been around you your whole life. You haven't had to find it here and there. Like for example, growing up, I watched a show called The Proud Family. It was my favorite show ever. The lead character is Penny Proud. She's light skinned. Her best friend, Jenae, is dark skinned. She got her stomach hanging out. They portray her very ghetto, if I'm just keeping it real. Like, she was
Yes, I
very,
remember the program.
and so nobody is saying Dejanay is less pretty or, all of these things, but it's a indirect way of being like, I wanted to be like Penny. I didn't want to be like Dejanay, even though that's the one who looks like me. Or you went to the store and you buying dolls and everything like that. There's usually only one shade. If a black doll is available, it's usually only one shade. So that's not representative of how many shades of melanin we have and all that we come in and all that we are.
Yes.
Going to school, I have a light-skinned sister. We're only a year and a half apart, so we were always in the same school together. I noticeably saw how people treated her versus how they treated me. While nobody blatantly called me ugly per se, I could tell the difference. Like it's those subtle things. And our mom is dark-skinned. Nobody ever in my life said that dark skin was ugly in my household. Yet I felt that. So it is all around, like you said, it's subtle, it's silent, it's the, oh, if you were lighter, I would like you, hearing things like that. Or you're pretty for a dark skinned girl. It's like, oh, because I'm cute, I'm the exception because dark skin really isn't that pretty. It's not a compliment, but people really say it to
I've
you
heard that all my life.
all my life in a million different ways. At
Yes.
my grown age, I still hear it. It's
Yes.
like, so it's all of those things. And I could just imagine how different I would have viewed myself if the shows I was watching, if the magazines I was opening, the dolls I was playing with, if the toys I had, the notebook I was writing in, the book bag I had on, the stories I was reading. Everywhere I look, I'm seeing me. And it's a positive representation that feels affirmed, that I don't even question if I'm worthy, if I can do this, if I am deserving of whatever. I can only imagine how different I would have felt about myself. So I think it starts with positive representation. And my goal for Little Brown Kids is, I don't even see it as a online e-commerce store. I really see it in Target and Walmart and these major distributors, because when I walk through the aisles of the books, we not there. When I walk through the school supply aisle, it's characters there, but not us. We are not there. And I want it to be globally available. I don't want nobody to have to search and scour Amazon and try to finally find a black-owned brand that got something for their babies. Like, that's where I
So
see it. That's where I can.
is this what prompted you to begin a storyline for Little Brown Girl and coloring books? Tell us about this.
Yeah. So really, Little Brown Kids is, again, this is gonna be repetitive, but it's just the truth for me. All God. I have been trying to block this idea or not follow through with it over and over and over again until he just kept kind of beating me over the head with it. And I finally surrendered and said, okay, I'll do it. Because I thought I was going to become a millionaire from entertainment. I don't know. I'm going to sing, I'm going to act, and that's how I'm going to, I never had a desire to own or run a business. And so I was just like, that feels like so much to take on. And I'm a new mom. I'm new first time. I'm just like, I don't have the acumen to do all of this. Until he just kept beating me over the head with it. And I said, okay, I okay, I will do it. So it started with transforming the lyrics of the songs into the children's book. And that transferred into the idea of a coloring book, just starting with the books and the shirts that I have. Little brown girl shirts and the black boy joy and the black girl magic shirts and everything like that. And I started doing it. And it was tough. I created the website from scratch. I, figured out how to get the books properly registered and published and all the steps I had to go through. And I just, it was me completely being surrendering and being obedient to what God was telling me to do. And, it hasn't blown up or done anything crazy as of yet, but because I know that this was not me and of my own desire and will, I know that God is going to bless it for its obedience. And I pray anytime I do get an order, I'm praying over the books. I'm praying over the child that will experience it. And just, if I'm even putting a small dent in making sure they have a childhood better than mine, in that aspect, then, I'm happy.
And that's another reason why I believe you are as unimaginably successful. Okay. And do you see how your life is taking all of these twists and turns, and you think that the success is coming from this angle, and then here comes the curveball, okay, that says, no, it's going to be here. This is where it's going to begin. And sometimes that might even look like a loss.
Yeah.
Like you're taking a loss, like you're taking a hit. But really, it's a setup for his plan. And, I've seen it all throughout my life. You know a little bit about my personal history. And originally from Sugar Hill, Harlem, right? And I was virtually orphaned 45 years ago when my mom passed away from a stroke. And it's not that my dad wasn't alive or that sort of thing, but he wasn't in my life at that time. He's passed on. They both are gone. But so technically, that's exactly what I was. And it's amazing how all of the dreams, all of the things she just didn't live to see, the things that her little Robin had told her that she was going to do. I have always, very similar to yourself, my background has always been in the arts. So the only thing I don't do is to play an instrument. Matter of fact, I have keyboards.
I do too. Can't play it, but I got one.
and I really need to get with it because my father, God bless his soul, my father is actually who I think the multifaceted talents that I've inherited came from him through God, right? So I learned when I was probably in my 30s, I discovered by accident, actually, that my father not only could play the piano, but the man played the piano like Scott Joplin, right? And I have friends of mine who say to me, you always say that, but it's so real because he could take a hymn, a Negro spiritual, and start out playing it in the manner that's familiar to you. And then all of a sudden put this, and the one and only time that I ever heard him do this in the parlor of a neighbor and dear friend of his, also long departed, I was astonished. And there was a part of me that over the years, as I processed that moment from time to time, and this is, by the way, before selfies, this is before having, recording devices on our cell phones, because I would definitely have recorded that. So all I have is it in my mind and my heart. But I felt robbed that I didn't know that before.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? One of the things that I love about you, Ebony, is the seriousness that you carry the mantle for us as a culture. Okay. Often people associate pillars of the community with a particular age and there's a particular status. You help people to seek that out
Mm-hmm.
through your gifts. And I love that. I really do. What do you think?
I am I am getting a little emotional with how you're pouring into me. I appreciate that. I appreciate how you're speaking life into me. And so matter of factly too. I receive, I receive, I receive. But yeah, it is I love how intentional yet unintentional it is. Because I do have a purpose behind what I write and, a feeling I hope that I invoke and a type of healing I hope people experience. But what actually ends up happening has always just been beyond whatever I was imagining. Like it really has taken and gone and heightened to levels that I didn't even know to pray for, really. And so I'm just, like you said, I'm really just a vessel. And I'm grateful for the gifts God has given me. I'm grateful that I have nurtured them and I feel like I've stewarded them well. And I don't take it lightly that people do look at me like that. I proudly hold the torch. I proudly wear the crown. I love my people. I love my community. Um, and yeah, I'm happy to be doing what I love.
Yes.
Really.
And it shows. It shows. It really and truly does. Because it's an inside out thing.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I love about what I do in this particular platform, and as you know, we're celebrating the 26th season, and I can't believe in half an hour the new year will be here and we'll be playing cake with 27. It's like a mind blower. I love how you live your life with intentional purpose. And it's a gift to have discovered that. You said something that I also am in agreement, because it definitely describes myself, which is I'm an introvert, and people who don't look at me or know me or view me with discernment don't realize that because of the things that they see me do and the things that I've been involved in. But I'm an introvert who does extroverted things. Okay. And these are not, as a visionary, I have a responsibility. And I've always been that way. But like you, I've always felt that there was a call upon my life. And I use these different gifts, okay, and not always to benefit myself. Sometimes there's just really nothing in it for me. But the impact, the positive impact that the results have upon someone else's life. And I might not even be there to see those results. It's the seeds that have been sown. And that is what makes this sort of thing so great.
Yeah. Yes.
What are your thoughts about rejection?
As an actor, I will say you got to get very, very, very comfortable with it. You may get 2 yeses out of every 100 auditions on average. I mean, this is just you putting yourself out there. I heard somebody said, like, being an actor is like going on a job interview. You know you're not going to get the job, but you just keep doing it over and over and over again. Like, it takes a little bit of delusion to be in this industry in general, like that you're going to make it. Only 1% of actors make more than $50,000 a year, make enough to live off of it. Mostly every actor has a side job. They wait tables on the side, bartend, do their thing. Very few of us get to make a living from it. I'm not there yet, but I believe I'm being at 1%, like my delusion, my faith in myself and my gift. But I think that the rejection, I feel like the no's are really God's protection a lot of times. And that, you can want something so bad and you want this, but it's just like, I feel like the way I view it is like God is not going to take something from me or block something from me and then not give me better. Like he just don't operate like that. So if this is a no, that must mean that the yes is better than what that would have been. If maybe you got to the last round, now you're in front of the producers and the network and all of those things, you get that far and it's a no. That must mean he about to blow your mind. Or at least that's how I believe it. So, sometimes, yes, I'm not saying every time I get a no, I'm like, woohoo, that means my yes is on the way. It's not like I'm celebrating, but I'm able to take it better. It's not so devastating anymore because I truly believe that what is for me is already mine and can't nobody else take it. It's already mine. I just have yet to come into it yet. So
Yes.
I don't know. I think it's necessary. It builds character. It lets you know if you really got the guts for the thing that it is that you're doing. And yeah, do you really want to be told yes for everything? Not
Right.
really, at least not. I think the no's are your protection. The no's are the area where you grow, where you get molded, where you get refined, where God is revealing things to you that you need to correct, that you need to wring out of your heart before you get the yes. It's so
Yes.
necessary. Sometimes it's devastating, but most of the times it's for your good. That's my viewpoint on it.
Right. 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 You're a new mom.
I am.
Beautiful baby.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Just growing.
Yes.
Like by the millisecond, right?
Yeah.
How is that for you?
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It has been extremely difficult for me. My first year, she's a year and a half now, but my first year of motherhood was hard. I feel like my immediate postpartum was, I know what it's like to really be depressed. So I don't think necessarily I experienced postpartum depression, but it was just this sadness. I did feel like I cried a lot. I felt overwhelmed. I feel like I was mourning the life I had before having a child. I feel like in a way I'm still mourning the version of myself that I was before becoming a mom. I feel like I kind of lost myself in taking on this new identity, when now having to be everything all the time for another human being is a lot. And it was like a shock for me. It's like although you're pregnant for those 9 months, I always say like becoming a mom is abrupt. It's not a gradual change. It's one day you walked out of your apartment and the next time you walked in, there was a baby there. And that baby was there every single day from that point forward. Like your life is so starkly changed. And, I know I'm still in the beginning stages of this and I've yet to find any real balance to that. And sometimes it makes me sad thinking that I may never get back to that Ebony that was before that, because I fell in love with that girl. I worked hard to get to become the woman that I had became, and I feel like I've lost so much of that in becoming her mom. So it has been difficult. It has been sad, but it also has been a blessing. It's not all bad. I do feel uniquely blessed to be her mom in particularly. Jenae is she's quite the kid. She is quite the kid. She's really
That's her name, Jenae?
Jenae, yes. And I don't know. I feel like the more we're learning each other, the more I'm growing and figuring this thing out. I'll be telling everybody, I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just winging it day by day. And, and I ain't messed her up yet. We're doing okay. But as I'm winging it and I'm learning how to do and what to do day by day, I feel the honor that it is to be a mother. And while it has been hard for me so far, I still couldn't see my life no other way. I don't know what I would do without her now. So yeah, that's just the real for me right now.
Thank you for your transparency.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there are many of us out there, particularly new moms and dads who have similar sentiments. And I think that one of the things that comes to my mind as I listen to you, because we all went through that, okay, it's normal. You are someone who's ever evolving. Even if you had not become a mommy, baby, you're still going to grow.
Yeah.
You're still evolving. Okay. You're too dynamic. You have too much inside of you to remain in one space. And I don't mean in a physical space.
Mm-hmm.
I mean mentally, emotionally, psychologically, just all the leads, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because you're an artist, because you have this depth, you will always be evolving because that's how you were made. The wonderful thing is the evolution now, the metamorphosis is that your beautiful 1.5-year-old daughter is an extension. Okay. And she's like a marker of where you were a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the growth.
Yeah.
Right. So and we'll have another discussion off camera, but I can absolutely relate, and I think that there's so many of us out there, because there are no cookie cutter answers in terms of how to be a mom or a dad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the one thing that you always want to be is present, not just for your baby, but for yourself. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to, just like you would hug her, you've got to be able to embrace yourself. Okay. And ever so often tell that beautiful woman who I'm looking at, who you see every day, wow, I love the fact that I still have these dimples. You understand what I'm saying? Wow. You're her gift. She's a gift to you, but baby, you're her gift. You're her gift, So never lose sight of that. And I'm sure that as I speak for not just myself, but the people that of whom will be watching and listening to this podcast, you have so many gifts and you are sharing them so freely. You are healing in ways that are unimaginable. Okay. Really and truly. And I'm sure all of these different testimonies that you're receiving, from people, just know how important you are. And all of these things that are happening, that are unfolding, all of these blessings on God's conveyor belt for you, the smorgasbord, okay, were meant for you. You. He thinks you're worthy of that. You are the apple of his eye. For what you're doing, only you could rock it. Okay? Not me, not that one, not the beehive and whoever, whatever, but no. This is your time, and your time isn't a microcosm of time. This is ever evolving. That's why, darling, when you toss that hair and you look back over your shoulder, she was fabulous. She was just getting started. Let me tell you where I'm at now. You understand? Because that's a woman. That's a woman, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that's a whole different show. Okay? That's a woman who knows who she is and she embraces herself. She embraces everything. She is the epitome of what this beautiful woman sings about, writes about. She embraces everything about herself and looks forward to all of it. And that doesn't come automatically. Doesn't come automatically. We could have another conversation about that too off camera. But the authenticity places you in a different ballpark. And people take notice. I asked you before about support. Who's your support system? Do you have a tribe or a team?
I do not. Career-wise, I have none. It's been a one-woman show this whole time, and it's been a prayer of mine. It's like, Lord, I thank you what you've allowed me to accomplish pretty much on my own, but I don't think that's a flex. I want to be, when I'm getting the accolades and everything, I want to be able to thank my team. I don't want to be up there saying I got it out the mud on my own, because it's hard. It's extremely hard. It's extremely heavy, and it feels even more sometimes impossible now that I'm a mom. It's just like I can only do so much. So, that is the next goal. I'm hoping for a team. I'm hoping for people that align with the vision, that have the same heart, that are genuine. It's a little scary down here in Atlanta. I've heard a lot of horror stories of people getting taken advantage of and those kind of things. And, I feel like everybody presents themselves as good. So, just hoping God increases my discernment when at bringing people into my life and into the thing that is Ebony Jenae, into this space with me. But yeah, no team yet. But in terms of just in life, the people that champion me is really my family. I'm really close to my family. And so it's hard a lot of time being down here by myself, but they got my back. That's my village for sure.
That's important. Mm-hmm. That is very, very important, because for those who don't have that, mm-hmm. okay, and are still striving and thriving and those sorts of things, definitely it's very challenging. Okay. But you have favor.
I do.
You have everything that you sing about. And it's not a cliche, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is really and truly who she is, how she is, what she's experiencing. So my prayer is always to circumvent, vet and circumvent and divert from those sorts of people, places, and experiences that prevent me from operating at full throttle to the best of my ability, mm-hmm. in a way that is impactful for others, So, but you, my dear, what words, as we come upon the close of this, mm-hmm. what words would you share? And I want to start with the young ones, our little brown boys. Let's mm-hmm. cast the light on them. What would we say to our beautiful little brown boys?
I wanted, when I found out I was pregnant, I really wanted a son. I was like, oh my God, I hope it's a boy. I hope it's a boy. Because something in my heart cries out for Black men and little Black boys, particularly in this country, and how villainized and weaponized they have been, how they are not just free to live in their joy wholly, that they have to have this backseat kind of feeling of fear being out in the world, that they can't just be human, that they can't just be. My heart hurts for the mothers of young Black men, and the fear that you must feel, when they leave the house, just not knowing this could be a regular day in the park, if somebody is going to be looking at them like a thug, like a threat, that their mere presence is scary or intimidating. And it happens to Black women too, but I think much more for Black men. And so when I was writing Little Brown Boy and releasing the books and everything, I wanted to give them a sense of freedom to just be, and assurance that that's okay, that in a world that is constantly trying to steal your joy, that is constantly trying to villainize you, in a society that likes to put you in a box, that likes to tell you what you are, and it typically isn't positive. Like, it's just me trying to champion you, that you are enough, you deserve joy, you deserve happiness, and to, excuse my language, but to hell with what society is thinking and what they're trying to put on you. You tell yourself who you are. You are a king. You are powerful. You are worthy. You are all of those things as well. There's a section in the song that says, "'Cause your skin is melanated, the world may tend to hate it, but you stay elevated and know that you're a king." I'm a little sick, so excuse my voice, but that's real. You stay elevated. I know it's hard to try to rise above all the time, but it's so necessary. Like, you got to fight for your joy and hold on to it, because if not, they try to take it, and they don't get to take that from you. You can choose to keep it. And so that's my hope and my prayer for
Yes.
little brown boys.
And, little brown boys turn into big brown men.
They do.
Okay. And so one of the things that I think is so lovely about your work, the book, the coloring books, by the way, I love how you give and you provide the opportunity for someone to find themselves within the realm of the gift that of which they're receiving.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah, different hair textures and facial features, and everything, just to be able to see yourself. I've never opened a coloring book and saw any character that looks like me ever in my life. So yeah, we have boys in there with the fro, with locks, with twist. And it's like, why not? Who says your locks aren't professional? Why can't you have locks and still be taken seriously? Why can't you have your braids and still be looked at as
Yes.
presentable? So it's just showing them like, it's okay.
Yes.
You out here, and every other page has a positive affirmation on them. I am regal, I am intelligent, I am joyous, all throughout it. So just trying to do my part. And I'm already thanking God in advance for the children that it will impact.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tell us how we can keep in contact with you, find out more about Ebony.
You go to my website, www.ebonyjenae.com. I am mainly on Instagram for social media. I have Facebook and TikTok, but I'm not usually on there. If you are trying to really contact me, my email is on my website as well, or you can DM me. I don't see the DMs as much because I do get a lot, but I do try to check them at least once a week if you want to contact me directly. If you'd like to support Little Brown Kids, you can shop on our website at www.littlebrownkids.com. Our books are also on Amazon, but you can only find our apparel and our specific packaging and everything directly from our website. I think that is everything. Yeah. My Instagram is just EbonyJenae_.
As I listen to you, and I have all of these different visions, right? Have you ever had a fashion show with the apparel?
I have not.
Okay, well, that's on your
I haven't
horizon.
anything with the apparel yet, but yeah.
Right. That's on your horizon. So many, many wonderful possibilities that will evolve into realities. You're a part of that evolution, baby. Okay, like this is what it is. You've been called. You've been called.
Called for sure.
Okay. And you're answering the call. We talked about, prior to recording, we talked about obedience. And you know that there's a passage in the Bible that talks about obedience being greater than sacrifice. Often the sacrifice that we feel that we're experiencing is parallel to the obedience, okay, that we're trying to exhibit. But the win for it, the win, the WIN, is the proof in the pudding and the outcome as we continue the race. Yeah. You're not looking over your shoulder, okay? And you're representing me, by the way, for whatever that is worth to you. You are representing me wherever you are in this world, and all of the wonderful things that you are doing to contribute to society in such a wonderful and inspirational way for not just women, not just little girls, but men and boys, everyone. So I'm inspired. I applaud you.
I receive. Thank you so much, Robin. Thank you for having me. I am honored to be on this platform on Imagine That. Congratulations on your anniversary and all of the things. And my prayer for you is that the Lord will just continue to prosper what you're doing. It's needed. And it is something unique about you and the way that you champion people, the way that you speak life into people, the way that you love on people. It's not by accident. It is definitely God ordained. And so I am praying that prayer over you, that everything you touch shall prosper, shall blossom beyond your wildest dreams. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, she's lovely. She really and truly is. She's the daughter. She's the niece. You know, there are people online that we don't even know. We just fall in love with them. You know what I mean? We see them online. Their lives. I can't think of some of the names now, but some of the people, like I've only been on TikTok maybe 2 years, 2.5, maybe 3 years now during the pandemic, right? But there are some of them that I'm just like, he has no idea he has an auntie in New York City, you know?
Absolutely.
And that's how I feel about you. I'm so proud of you. And I thank you once again for joining the Imagine That with Robin Richie platform. And ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your support for 26 seasons of the Imagine That with Robin Richie platform. And I have evolved in so many different ways. And once again, all the best to each and every one of you as we embark upon a new year. May it be a year of triumphancy, a year of great health, vision, prosperity, courage, and love. So that's my wish for all of you. And maybe one day I'll have an opportunity to see you in the flesh and applaud you. And until that time, all the best to you, beautiful Ebony, Jenae. Thank you so very much. And thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen. And until the next time, I'll see you again. Bye-bye.
I wake up grateful every day, covered in favor, doused in grace. Only